So this is a reading I like to call What's Going On with That Damn Person. The intention is to bring peace of mind, to activate and to validate your own inner knowing and intuition. Bring closure where it needs to be brought to light up the path forward. All right. Hope you're doing well. I'm Kristen. Oh, okay. Ripeness. You're in a place where you can distinguish between what's ripe and what's not ready. And this person, this relationship, whatever it was, could be love, could be something else, could be a friendship, could be family. But they weren't at the same place as you in terms of what you're ready for. All this ripe fruit. I think this was a person who thought that they were ready, or they were ready, but not in the same vibration. They were ready for something that you didn't want. So you let yourself just fall. You let yourself just fall away. Because you are dreaming. You are in this manifestation process of imagining and dreaming about what it is that you actually want to bring in your life and relationship. And you're seeing it. You're feeling it in your body. You're touching it. You're experiencing it. Perhaps you're seeing other people and you're looking at other relationships and you're like, yeah, I say yes to that. Or perhaps you've been on other dates or been around other people. And you're like, yeah, no, that's really that energy. That's more of the vibration that I'm traveling on. But it doesn't take away from what seemed to be compatibility or similarity, right? This is fruits from the same tree. So there's definitely some sort of compatibility, some kind of opportunity. And perhaps it feels, or it felt like a missed opportunity. Perhaps they were the one that just fell away. Perhaps someone left before it ripened. Somebody left the building or went silent or took a pause before you guys could ripen into the next phase of where you could go. And that left you in a state of wondering. And at first it could have been imagining them and what could have been, or being in that place of kind of like, going over what worked. And I think in that dreaming state, that evaluation state, you can look at what was similar, what was compatible, where was the opportunities, why did this seem like it was two people ripening together? What works for me? What do I want to keep from that? Maybe it was the amount of fun you had with them. Maybe it was the physical compatibility. Maybe it was something about their personality that sparked you. And it's like, you're like, okay, yeah, I want to make sure that I take that with me into what's next, but I really need somebody who's going to be with me, coupled with me, wanting to grow with me. a little more into their energy of the other. Aloneness. They may thought that they needed to go through personal processes, that they needed to heal from something. They're not healed from something. Perhaps they needed to step back because they needed to take some sort of a personal journey, and that personal journey potentially could have been combined with a professional one, but really it's a personal one. They're trying to find their way through the dark. Some of these people are avoiding stepping into the light. Perhaps this person has been wandering around in the dark and perhaps, trapped in some blocked emotions around relationship. Maybe they've been overanalyzing too much, but in the guise of a healing process. But they're more in the over-analytical place than the healing place. And they're trying to decide, do I want to step through something, to the other side and explore something new that could be potentially very different and very gratifying, but just sort of looking at it. And guidance. Guidance and traveling. So these two came up in last week's love reading. It's a sign you might want to check that one out. Aloneness, traveling, guidance. Perhaps this person goes on a lot of vacations to distract themselves, or a lot of trips to distract themselves, or business trips to distract themselves, or a combination of those things in order to distract themselves. They're seeking some kind of inner guidance. It feels like inner guidance, like they're trying to therapy themselves. This feels like a person that wouldn't necessarily go to therapy themselves or seek some sort of spiritual guidance. Perhaps they see themselves as maybe not spiritually advanced as the word, but they see themselves as somebody who's been through it all and very wise. What's coming to me with this is there was this friendliness that never ripened into passion. So even if there was a deep physical connection, intimacy, there was something about it that just didn't really pull through to a deep kind of connection, or it was sort of sitting there on the precipice of what could be a more deeper emotional and intimate connection, and it just stayed more friendly because of the differences, that despite this compatibility, it was differences. But it's interesting because these trees are working so beautifully together. So there's something that worked beautifully together. Or perhaps it was, maybe, may I say, perception of what works beautifully together for you, and an old idea of what romantic partnership and life partnership or dating and getting to know someone, what it should be. King of Cups, somebody very sensitive and emotional. Someone almost too sensitive and too emotional that they do distract themselves. Probably with travel. And traveling here, okay, also is like them kind of skedaddling, is what I want to say. They just sort of like mosey on in and mosey on out. Like that's part of the traveling. Like they come in back and forth. It's very friendly. It's very compatible. It seems to work really well. It feels like it could grow together, and then, they drop off because they're in constant discovery of themselves, or at least they tell themselves they're in constant discovery of themselves. But never really quite taking the full journey. Five of Rods, inner conflict. I think this put you in some inner conflict as well. Frustration, irritation, sort of like, why me? Why this again? This seemed to be very compatible. This seemed to be like two people who, although had their differences and were two, very much individuals. Like you guys are very, like you're both sovereign people. You both have a lot of agency. And I think perhaps this other person you're dealing with could very much have preferred to be alone. There's something about them that prefers to be alone. So they're constantly, they go between these worlds of wanting to get close and intimate and enjoying and wanting to get to know and wanting to connect, but then kind of flaking off and not really keeping their cards close to their breast. And I think that this person, it's not always obvious that they're doing that because there is an emotionality to them. Like they are a share. I think you've had some deep moments with this person. You've had deep moments with them, but they're not deep. I think they're cool. I think they're interesting. They're smart. But they're not as deep. Like they don't go deep. And their experiences from the past has kind of made them, like they dip their toe in. And it's okay to go slow, but it's almost, it's like not even a baby step to a baby step. It's sort of like I dip my toe, but now I need to go. And it feels like, being dropped, not being included in their journey. And I think that you felt like, well, they're not including me in their process, or I can sit with them, I can meet them where they are in this healing process or going through this thing, but it's like, I don't even think like they're really even doing that. Like there's nothing for you to sit with. It's sort of the illusion of a journey, of a process, right? Of a going deep, of a healing. It's an illusion of it without it really happening. Six of Rods reversed. I don't think that they feel like they've won anything. Ten of Pentacles. It feels like, familial patterns, family patterns, generational stuff. Perhaps I didn't get enough guidance growing up about real relationships and about love and real bonding. But I mean, so many of us didn't. And I think, we're on this journey to teach ourselves because we didn't always see, a pure rendering of love and compassion and unconditional love and good relationships. But I think there has to be a real self-awareness of like, oh, well, that's where this comes from. Whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, it's really never too late to keep digging into, oh yeah, I didn't get that because I didn't know that, I didn't learn that from when I was younger. But there has to be that acknowledgement, that self-awareness around it. Otherwise, the first step is the awareness, and then it's sort of like, well, how are you going to change out the pattern? What are you going to do about it? Ten of Cups. So 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. Wanting an emotionally stable situation that breaks the change of generational trauma around romantic relationship, family. Building up a new legacy based on your personal growth and awareness, using all of the experiences of your life, your family's experiences, your ancestors' experience, to create new generational pathways that are more positive and more productive, more loving, more based on what people really feel in their hearts, based on the direction that the world is going in when it comes to relationships, and how more fluid the structure of relationships can be. That you can choose anything from traditional all the way to completely unconventional and nothing to do with traditional and anywhere in between. And there doesn't have to be any kind of shame around any of the choices. There's no shame around you being you and having the life you want and the relationship that you want. 8 of Rods, Ace of Cups, more options coming in for you. High Priestess. And you know that this was an experience that, however disappointing it could have been, frustrating, disappointing, you know that there's like a higher purpose, that beyond the, why is this happening to me again? Or why can't I just have a nice experience? Or, why does it always go this way? That beyond that, there is a place where deep in your gut, that you're receiving the experiences that you're meant to have to be the best partner to the person that you would want. You want to be that the person that you would want. And you want them to feel that way too. You want them to be somebody who's like, I want to be the kind of person that my person would want. And no one's perfect, and we all have our stuff, but just somebody who you can process with just as much as cuddle with and laugh with and have fun with. And as a very good friend of mine says, be your stinky, smelly old self with. And they think that that's just awesome. But, and so this is coming in. I feel like with the 8, I immediately jump to the 8th month of the year, August. Perhaps 8 weeks, something in the next 8 weeks. You could just feel an opening, that there are just more options than you think. You might feel yourself when you're out with friends, going out to restaurants, you're just going out for drinks, you're going out to the grocery store, wherever you're going. You could just feel yourself being more open and finding more people attractive. Like something in this experience opens something up for you. Like I think that there's as much of a benefit of seeing what we don't want as much as what we do want. And again, there were things with this person that you absolutely are like, yeah, I could take a bit of that, but I need it, I don't need that. I like some of those attributes. but ultimately it's not a match. Yeah, the first thing I thought too with the Eight of Rods was that you could hear from this person if you aren't in touch with them. And a lot of times, you know, sometimes I listen to readings like this and someone's coming up and I'm unattached. I'm like, actually, I don't care whether I hear from him again or what, but sometimes it's just really curious. Sometimes you're just kind of curious. Sometimes it's just about, like I said, just wanting some validation. And with collective energies like this, it's nice to know that there are so many of us on a particular pathway. You know, it really isn't just me, like, why is this happening to me again? It's like there's a collective of us. And there's a collective of us that are learning more and more about ourselves and about what we need and want in partnership. And we're okay with getting uncomfortable and letting things go that were pretty good matches, but not the best match. Because that's what you deserve, the best match. Yeah, so something about this August, 8th month, summertime. So, summer of love. I could use a bit of that. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you, I love you. I hope that you will please hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds and it really, really helps the channel and I would very appreciate it. And I hope that if you are feeling cold, you will hit subscribe, come hang out with me. I put up readings all the time on all kinds of subjects and I would really love to connect with you more. All right,